We are starting, right? Gleb, please take a seat. We'll be very informal in this case. So what we are doing now, we have an extremely interesting session organized by XY, and which is like regular session organized with all entrepreneurs and residents who are coming to Moldova to help startups, and Gleb is one of them. Today, we will have a very unique case. And this case is called Gleb. And why unique? Because how old you are?
Currently 21.
21 years old. Living in US, Moldovan,
Yes.
Which is like a big plus again. And who managed to start a business and already raised funds. I have checked your LinkedIn and it's wow. I said, wow, this guy, like, how old is he? Let's start. Today we will speak about his experience, his journey, your journey, and we will also speak about what does it mean to build a startup in US, how hard it is, and especially how hard it is to find funding to build a startup. And of course, we will finish with some tips and tricks and suggestions to the audience how to do it in Moldova or from Moldova there, okay?
Yeah, excited to be here.
Gleb, just present yourself. Tell us about yourself.
Yeah, thanks for your kind words and thanks everyone for coming today. I appreciate you spending this Thursday evening with me, and maybe I hope I will be helpful to some of you. A few words about myself. Originally, I'm from Transnistria.
Yeah.
From a small village. And
You have one friend, plus one friend.
Yes, that's true. And I was born there, lived normal life, which means didn't do anything till I was 16. I also used to love to play a lot of computer games, and my mom was joking that I was sitting all day long with the crossed legs till I was 16, and then something happened, and I never sit since then. So I work, staying now. I never play games. I think something clicked at that moment.
What exactly was it?
I think that, yeah, just my parents sent me to, no, it was like 1 year before I needed to go to Moscow to join university. And my parents just told me that there is no way you're going to escape it. In 1 year, you need to join the university. And if you're not going to do this, we're not going to be really proud about you. And we're not going to be really happy about that. And for me, it was always very important to make my parents happy. And I just realized that I didn't know anything about medicine, about chemistry, about biology. I didn't have a clue how can I pass these exams, right? And I transparently told them that's the point, that's the problem we have to deal with. And yeah, I just started learning 24/7, a lot of teachers. And that's the first time in my life when I basically gave up everything except of one goal, which was to join university.
But it was university in Russia, right?
Yeah, in Moscow. Yeah.
So did you join it?
Yes, I did. And also, it was an interesting situation. I studied in Tiraspol in 10th grade. And as you know, to join any university and to be able to pass the EGA, right, you need to finish and get the school diploma and finish 11th grade. Yes. But I was at 10, and basically my parents figured out a way for me to join some school in Moscow. Basically, while I was in 10 in Transnistria, I joined 11th in Moscow. And I said, thank you, but...
You still have to learn a lot.
Yes, and now I have to do it not in 2 years, but in 1. So it kind of helped, but not really.
But how did this journey to Moscow University, so University in Moscow, led you to staying in California and living there?
Yeah, I live in London currently. Okay. Yeah, and we can talk about that, but I've never been in the US. Yeah, I've been rejected for visa multiple times.
Oh my God, I was so sure you live there. Okay.
No, I unfortunately did not. This is one of the problems I have to deal. But anyways, the point is, I joined the medical university, and I felt a lot of loneliness there because I didn't know anyone in Moscow, right? All my friends still here. They still going to school, right? And I don't know anyone in Moscow. And I decided just to join the lab, like in the university, to do some science, because that's what my brother told me to do. Like, you need to do something. Science is the best thing. And I joined the lab, but nobody was really open to give me any tasks. Basically, I was asking them to give me any work, and they said, just finish your studies and then come to us in like 3-4 years when we will be close to graduation. I was like, I don't want to wait. And I was like really not crying, but just arguing with them for months until I just closed myself into the lab and said that I'm not going to exit until you give me the task. And so the professor gave me the tasks. He basically bought kind of like a laser, and he said that you can figure out what we can do with this laser for medicine. Nobody knows that because it's pretty useless in medicine, to be honest. And we bought it just because we got some grant and we needed to spend money because it's the end of the year. So typical science in Russia. But yeah, we have to deal with that. And I figured out a way how to use this thing to analyze body for elemental compounds such as calcium, zinc, other stuff. And it was pretty useful. And we sold it to a local chain of hospitals in Moscow. And it was really cool technology.
So wait a bit. You got a grant to buy technology?
Not me, the professor.
The professor. And then you learned how to use it, and then you sold that?
Yeah, it was all like, I was the one working, he was the one getting money. It was a really nice deal.
Russian way.
Yes, it was a really Russian way. I used to work with most of Russian pop stars. Basically, I went to, like, he sent to me, after I developed the technology and he sold it, he said that now you need to find a way how to create a business out of it. And that was my first attempt to make a business around some technology.
And you were how old?
I think I was like 17 or 18.
17 years old,
yeah.
Okay.
It was me and my friend who was just, basically, he was just studying with me. He also didn't know anything about the world. And but he was kind of fun to hang out with. So we were doing this together. And yeah, and so he said that now you need to build a business. And I said that I need budget for marketing, as most of you need probably today. And he said, well, you don't have budget. I said, well, that's again fair deal. And what I started doing, I started just outreaching hundreds of Russian actors, influencers, pop stars on Instagram.
Why exactly that target?
Well, because I thought that I can say to them that I can I can scan their nails to get their elemental compounds and find some intoxicities and get some and kind of find some right nutrition to them.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, and a couple of them bought it. It was not really cool. It was for free for me. Like, we got like 100 to 200 sales, which is nice, but not something like really crazy. The conversion rate was very small, and then I said, all right, where they hang out. I figured out that in the best Russian restaurants in Moscow, and then I just went to the chefs of these restaurants, and I said that, well, let's make a cool experience. You're gonna invite your cool guests, like, tops of the world, for a private dinner. I'm gonna scan everyone. We're gonna see the elemental compound of their body. We're gonna scan the food, and we're gonna prepare the food to kind of fill out their disturbances, right? Their deficiencies. And he said, that sounds cool. That's how I analyzed the hand of Alla Pugacheva, Ivan Urgant, and other stuff.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was like...
So, yeah, tell us what happens with Alla Pugacheva, what she lacks.
I mean, I was just a kind of random guy. I would like cool red, getting her hand and analyzing it. It was really fun. Yeah, but this created a nice awareness and generated a lot more money for my professor. He bought a Ferrari. And I was a bit disappointed because I got maybe $300.
Not even a toy? Ferrari toy?
Not even a Ferrari toy. Yeah, and I was got disappointed by this thing. And I left the lab and started, I think I found one Telegram channel where this one Russian famous entrepreneur was sharing his stories about how he building stuff in the US. He was like Russian-born entrepreneur who built a cool company in Russia, but now mostly focused in the US. And I found this vacancy he published, something like, he basically said that we are creating a new technology together with guys from MIT and Harvard, And like Zuckerberg, one of our investors, I believed in that. And I sent him I applied for the vacancy, and the vacancy was like a researcher or something, like really deep science. I didn't know like nothing. I didn't know English, and I applied to that. And so the hiring manager was this girl who really changed my life, because she basically started the interview. She immediately understood that they know nothing, because I said that let's speak Russian. And she said fine, and she asked how old I am, and I'm like, I'm 18, and she's like, and she just felt ashamed to leave the call immediately, because kind of cute little boy, why not to spend with him 15 minutes? And then the call was scheduled for 30 minutes, and we ended up talking about 6 hours. He canceled all the calls after that, like during the time. Because we just were.
What was there? Why do you think it happened to be 6 hours instead of 30 minutes?
She noticed a real passion in me for like a real curiosity. I was like super interested into learning more from her. I was just attacking her with all the questions about everything.
Instead of she interviewing you,
yeah,
you switched roles.
Yes, and I was interviewing her, and then at the end she said, "Well, like really cool. You understand that it's not good. You don't have nice skills for this job, but we might find something for you because you're kind of funny." And next day she just reached out to me and said that like it was fun to talk to you. We need to find some real researcher for this role. And I said that let me do something just for free. And then she said fine. And then I was doing a lot of research for free for a month or so. And then they said that we want to pay you some money because you're actually doing something useful. And I was doing a lot of research.
But that was in Moscow as well?
Yeah. I mean, it was all remote. I was in Moscow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I was studying in university, but I basically gave up studies, and I said that I'm going to work most of the time.
You gave up to do a free of charge job?
No, I gave up studies.
Yes, you gave up studies to do a free of charge job.
Yes, that's right.
Like, are you okay?
I mean, I was always pursuing, I think, my passions and my heart. I didn't really care about anything else. And so I was working for them for free. Then they offered me some small salary. And then, I just started delivering some outstanding things. For example, I remember that one day I reached out to this big influencer that nobody was able to reach, and I, got her support for free, and I did the same thing in the US. They said we need this influencer, and I said, well, I'm going to get her.
Yeah, I'm a cute boy.
Yes, and I reached out to her, to this influencer, like she was a big American influencer in medicine, and I said, there was no ChatGPT at that time. So nothing could change my communication and can improve it. It was very stupid Russian sentence. I said that I'm from Russia. I'm like 18. I'm studying in Mengel University, and I sent her my some tests of my health, and which was they were pretty outstanding. I basically showed to her that I can eat a lot of sugar, and it won't cause my spikes in glucose. And to kind of bite her. And she was like, wow, that's unreal. And I said, well, come to Russia. I will show to you how we do this. And she said, well, you know what? I know that in Russia there are a lot of kind of magic mushrooms and things like that. Do you something like that? I said that let's jump on the call. I'm gonna explain. And she took a call. And like all my bosses were like super surprised, and they kind of promoted me. And it was kind of fun. And then ultimately I decided to just close all the relationships with them. And
can we pause here? Because I think you're like a gem of a lot of interesting character features, abilities, and skills. And I want to ask you just to kind of highlight them. Why do you think helped you to succeed till this point? Was it luck? Was it naivety? Was it what? What do you think?
I think definitely serendipity. Serendipity, basically I just recently discovered this word, so I'm not sure if everyone knows that. So I'm gonna explain it to you. Yeah, basically serendipity means that you give chances to a lot of things with low probability of success, right? So there's very low probability that, I will join this free job and I will get something like crazy, but I'm going to do it. There's very low probability that some big star going to answer you in Instagram and in DM, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to see what happens. So I'm doing a lot of these things, and I think that that's what helps me. And also just some inner belief that everything's going to be okay. Just if I pick ambitious enough goals and I believe in myself, everything's going to be okay. And it helps me to take risks. So these two things.
Amazing. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Let's continue. So you kind of got fed up with them and decided to continue where?
Yeah, I decided to, I think I put it in the wrong way. I didn't really fed up with them, but I just noticed that I'm a bit stuck with what they are doing and with what I was doing. And I said that I just started doing more things that again brought me more happiness. And at that time for me, it was just sharing more content with people. So I was learning a lot from them because they were top scientists of the world. I dived deep into the latest research, and I just noticed a lot of things. I started doing experiments on my body and like with health, and I decided I want to share it with a lot of people. Right? I firstly shared it with my family. It helped them, and I said that I want to help more people outside of my family.
So can you give me a few examples of those experiments on yourself that you're doing?
Yeah, I mean, you can find.
You have a okay.
Yeah, you have a deck. You see, I was prepared. So I had on Instagram, and you can even find now a lot of the videos I made.
So is it you, right? Everywhere.
I mean, kind of similar. Yeah. Nice boy I hired, and so yeah, I was doing a lot of experiments. But I mean, for example, I noticed that when I built the whole company around that, but the idea was that I found this thing on my friend. He was diabetic with the continuous glucose monitor, and I said that it's also serendipity. I said that I'm going to try it on myself. I mean, no way. I mean, she's diabetic. He's like, I like normal person would never do this, but I said that I'm going to try it just to see what it showed in my body. And then I noticed this kind of glucose graphs and glucose spikes, and then I started learning about it, and then I figured out that if you kind of manage to have your glucose level constantly the same without spikes, then I started feeling much more productive and much less drowsiness, better sleep, better physical activity. So that was one of the things, and I started sharing this content with people. And started giving lectures about that. Then I noticed that people really interested into understanding how food affects their body, like real science, not like some snake oil shit. And people started reaching out to me to ask to give some lectures. And I was doing performances in different kind of Russian exhibitions about coffee, about food. And on one of the conferences, after one of the conferences, this girl came to me.
You did not finish the university. You did not graduate.
I was still studying. Well,
you were
basically,
studying.
yeah. I was. I think I pretty quickly can figure out how this system works, any system, and then I just figure out a way how can I spend only 10% of my. There is always like a something in the system, kind of like a weak point of the system, where you can apply only 10% of efforts and you're going to get 90% of the result.
So, kind of Pareto
yeah,
rule,
the Pareto rule, right. And so I figured this thing in the university. I just figured out a couple of things. How can I never participate in anything, but still they will give me access to exams, and by spending 2 days before the exam and finding the right girls who study everything, they teach me, so I can be pretty successful there. So that's what I did. So I had like 90% of the time left to do things that I really love. So
you were invited on this different events to speak.
Yeah.
What was happening next?
I was giving these lectures, and one of the lectures, this woman came to me, and she said that it's kind of quite funny thing you are doing. Come to my office, and she gave me her kind of card, and I didn't know her, but then I discovered that she's the founder of the biggest manufacturer of healthy food in Russia. And she was the only one company in Russia who got a certificate, basically was allowed to sell her product on iHerb, which is a pretty big deal, right? And yeah, I got to her office. I wear this very stupid suit. It was so stupid. And I came to her office. I was like super nervous, all sweaty. And then I said that, I explained what I'm doing. And I said that I have this, I'm pretty good in science. I have this kind of continuous glucose monitor thing. And it's pretty fascinating what results you can get. And she was like, wow, yeah, that's cool. And she said that you need to build a startup around it. And I said, yeah, startup is cool. I didn't know what is startup, like the word. And but I said, yeah, like you want to do this together? And and she said, yeah, why not? I said, well, let's do it this way. I'm gonna do all the science. I'm gonna do all the business. And she said, well, it's not how startups work. Like I suggested to be the founder and build a startup. I said, I don't give a shit about the standards. I care about science. I'm not interested in business. You gotta find investments. You gotta find business model. You're gonna figure out how to sell it. I'm gonna do science. I'm really good at it. And she said, that's fine. You're great. And I'm gonna figure out everything for you. I'm gonna bring to you investments. Like I'm gonna work on your science as you want. The only thing I ask you is send me your pitch deck. And I was like,
what is that?
yeah, that's where I stopped lying. I said that I don't know even the startup, but I kind of tolerated that. Now you got to explain to me what do you want. And she said, listen, here's a link, here's a guide. Just follow the guide and come up with something. It doesn't need to be perfect, but something. And I said that's fine. And I went home. Called my friends, something like, oh, you know what? We're like, that's the deal. We are partnered. Now we're kind of billionaires. And he was like, wow, that's cool.
Let's buy a Ferrari finally,
yeah,
right?
Let's buy the Ferrari. And then so we closed ourselves in the room. And also it was so stupid. At the time it was a construction, our university. And you know what the best university in Moscow in medicine does? They brought all the students to, instead of learning more medicine, to do the construction. And so we kind of closed ourselves in one of the rooms, so nobody will find us. And we were just doing a lot of basically learning about the pitch decks. And we developed this first pitch deck in like a week. I called her back, I sent it to her on WhatsApp, and she didn't respond. And I was like, wow, that sucks. And it was like June, end of June. I thought maybe, went to the sea, something, yeah. And 1 week again, I reached out again, nothing. 1 week again, nothing. But then she responded back and said, come to me again. I said, fine. Came to her, kind of angry, and said that, what's going on, partner? And she also had this very cool American accent. She was like saying, sometimes she was like introducing some American words, kind of fancy, and also she was saying like, okay, like with the American accent. Like I thought that, well, she's really then experienced. and then she explained to me that she spent like 20 years in America being a model. And yeah, to me it was like super successful person. And yeah, she said, like, do some updates, like here's something bad, like update it. And then I updated it, sent it back, and after that she never responded back. After 2 months, I was like, and I together with my friend already, like I even find the third one, kind of all working together. They all working essentially for me for free. I'm working for her for free, so kind of not the best thing. And then she never responded back to me.
Just to clarify, what was the idea of the startup? What was the solution?
The idea of the startup was to sell these glucose monitors to people and help them be more productive. Mm-hmm. Like the idea was, yeah, I kind of made myself more productive, and I said that I'm going to make more people more productive. Mm-hmm. And
so she never responded.
Yeah, she never responded back. And then after a month, I understood that she will never do this, and I already signed up a couple friends on that.
She bumped you.
Yes, unfortunately, and yeah, and I didn't have a chance to basically give up because in that case my friends will be disappointed by me. So I said that I'm going to do it by myself now. Yeah, the first thing I did, I just Googled how to start a startup. So
there's no accelerators, yeah, incubators.
I learned the word startup like a month ago. What is accelerator? Scary. Yeah, I had Google, which is nice. And I Googled how to start a startup, which was a very nice sentence to Google because I found this playlist of lectures from YC, right? Mm-hmm. I think I suggested everyone here to learn to watch these 25 lections from YC because it's basically the collection of golden knowledge And as a nice student, I basically made conspects of everything. And I think that, yeah, I'm gonna.
Всем привет, меня зовут Глеб, и я создатель проекта «Рабочий час». Это проект направлен на создание комплексной системы контроля и управления своим организмом для увеличения продолжительности жизни без потери ее качества. Каждый из вас наверняка сталкивался с проблемой поспать после еды, сниженной выносливостью, повышенной утомляемостью. Все эти проблемы можно решить с помощью индивидуально подобранного питания на основании гликемического ответа именно вашего организма. На сегодняшний день существует только 3 приложения, помогающих следить за уровнем сахара. 3 из них для Америки и 1 для Европы. Ни одно из них не русифицировано, и все они стоят, начиная от $330 в месяц, что в переводе на рубли примерно 25 тысяч рублей. Мы хотим, чтобы возможность исследовать и улучшать себя была доступна каждому. Поэтому мы решили создать сервис, который будет намного дешевле, чем у конкурентов, а также получит русскую локализацию, которой нет ни в одном из приложений конкурентов. На сегодняшний день наша команда подходит к завершению создания прототипа. В перспективе мы хотим создать некоторый хаб, который будет собирать в себе информацию с разных гаджетов, например, с фитнес-часов, упаковывать их в облачное хранилище, а далее выдавать персонализированную аналитику. Таким образом, каждый сможет легко собирать свою биологическую бигдату. А с текущими скоростями развития технологий в ближайшем будущем каждый из вас сможет разгадать загадку своего организма и избавиться от болезни.
It was accidental.
Всем привет, меня зовут Глеб.
This is your pitch deck, right? This is not
a
deck,
pitch deck.
it's a pitch.
Yeah, I'm going to come back to this in a second. I just didn't know how to stop it. But I mean, remember what I said there?
Yeah, you sold me. Where can I buy it?
Yeah, I just said that we did these lectures and did the conspects of the lectures. You can see it here. This is basically a mind map of all the lectures in YC. Yeah. So that's what we did as NIS students. And then we applied for these. It was exactly, there was this competition in Russia. I'm not going to switch back to this video because it's going to, again, will be turned on. But remember this video. After I did this conspect of lectures from YC, I kind of learned something about the startups. I understood how should I present my ideas. And then I found this kind of competition, like a pitch competition, and I applied exactly to, it was 11:59 p.m., like 1 minute before the deadline.
You applied where?
It was a Russian competition, but organized from guys by guys from Silicon Valley, and also sponsored by LG. And yeah, I didn't believe that we will win, but we decided to apply anyway. Like 1 hour before the deadline, we started recording the video. That's why I'm super sweaty there. And then we applied 1 minute before, and then in 2 weeks we won. And
you won?
Yes.
What did you win?
We win a big monitor. And yeah, it was like
from LG, of course.
From LG, of course. And it was like, but it was pretty expensive. It was like $600. I mean, for us, it was super expensive. And we sold it, and that's were the first investments. Yeah, equity free, by the way. And
kind of bootstrapping, right?
Yes. And then I said, I mean, what did we do with this money? We just bought a lot of food and
it was what year it was?
It was. I think it was 2020. Yeah. No, it was 2020. Yeah. One sec. It was 2020. It was winter.
Pandemic year.
Yeah. And so, yeah, 2020, and then end of 2020, and then I was doing this. We got some belief in us, and I got some inspiration, and then I started then I understood that I need more investments, and I started just reaching out to hundreds of people via email. Everyone that I thought might have any money. And I was just reaching out to say that this is my idea, this is what I'm doing. I don't need your money, but I need an advice. And also I can, in exchange for the advice, I will coach you for free. And I'm very good at it. Yeah, I think that I was sending about 100 emails per week, personalized, which was stupid because, I mean, I was literally every morning, I was starting my day by doing 6 hours of emails, and I was writing the email without any templates every day from scratch. Yeah, I was like so stupid. And then after I sent about 400 emails, I got one response. But this was a response pretty good one because this was from the founder of Skyeng. Probably a lot of people know here Skyeng, right? The English company, like English school. And he responded back to me and he said, yeah, let's jump on a call. And then this call was like embarrassing because he basically, the call starts from him turning on the video, but totally black screen. And I see some very weird sound of like like someone is smoking hookah. And I was like, wow, that's embarrassing. Like he doesn't give shit so much, so he won't turn on the video. He's gonna smoke the thing. And and I'm like totally red, and I'm, oh, should I just finish this now? But I just continue talking. Then he turns on the video, and then I see that he's smoking, but not like the tube. I said like fine, and then in 5 minutes I got a bit relaxed. But in 5 minutes she opens the beer, starts drinking beer, and I'm like, oh man, like zero respect. And but I again continued, and then he was like just listening to me for 40 minutes without entering any word, just drinking this fucking beer and like doing this weird smoking sound. And then he said, "That's it." And I'm like, "Well, sorry for that. I can leave right now." But he said, "Yeah, that's pretty cool." And I'm like, "Wow." And he started giving a lot of really cool advices. It was like a cold shower, definitely, but very cool advices, very specific one. How can I improve things? And it was like very obvious that he wanted to help me. And he said that, "Here's my number. You can call me anytime." And that was super helpful. But he was one of these guys who never gives you the fish. Yeah, he will only teach me how to do things, which was I was kind of angry at him, because I mean I needed some help, like just like connect me to the investor. What are you doing? Why are you just explaining me how to do better cold outreach? But yeah, that was at least something. And so he basically navigated me. How can I come up with a nice story? What's really important in startups? What are the success factors? Things like that. And yeah, then somehow I just continued working with him and also doing this cold outreach. And one day and I started talking to more people, a lot of stupid advices. Nobody wanted to give me any money. But I was doing, I think that in 2 months I got about 40 clients who was just getting free coaching from me. And I was just like, fuck.
Yeah, it's not clients.
Yeah, yes. It's not clients because nobody pays me. And but then in 3 months, one guy asked me why I've been coaching him for 3 months without even asking for money. And I said, well, I love this thing, and that's it. That's the answer. And he said, well, that's really pretty unusual. Like, all people ask me for money. Nobody really just gave me something. And I can give you the money. I said, wow, that's nice. He said,
how much was that?
30K.
USD?
Yeah, USD. And I said, fine, but I said 30K is not that much. And it's like, what I can do with that? And he said, fine, I'm going to find my friend who's going to give you another 30K. I said, fine. But now I said I don't have a bank account. He said, what are you talking about? Like, figure this out. Like, man, yeah. I said, that's fine. So I registered the company in the US, got this money from him. And it was like, it was 1st of November, 2021 already. And yeah, and then both of them didn't believe I would be able to make any success. And they were very transparent about that. They said, you're a cool kid, know some science, really help us with our health, but zero chance you can build a business. I said,
but they still invested in you.
Yeah.
Why?
Because they had money and it was fun for them. Like, a lot of people are doing this not for money, and especially angel investors. And so in my case, a lot of people wanted to learn my psyche better, to then understand how to bring up their kids. Yeah, that I realized pretty early. Now I abuse it now. But anyways, that was the case. And I think very often investors invest not from the very obvious reasons. Like, you really need to dive deeper into their psyche and understand what actually drives them. A lot of people care about the problem, or just they want to hang out with you or something. And yeah, and then they gave this money on 1st of November. I don't have any product. I don't know how to code, nothing. But I was really like passionate and desperate. And then I just started reaching out to people, going to events. I found kind of co-founder who can code.
But you had 2 other co-founders, right?
No, I had no one.
Oh, you were alone.
I had two friends who were students like me, but none of us can code. I actually initially found I initially found a ninth grad. So basically the guy who was studying at...
Ninth grad?
Yeah.
9th class?
Yes. Yes, you can see it.
That's such a crazy story.
And because he wanted to work for free, which was nice. And
he did coding.
Yeah,
he did coding, right?
He did coding, like very shitty coding. But we developed the first app. And the name was, you see, very international, Maguchi app. which is kind of nice. And yeah, he developed the first prototype in a couple weeks. I was very kind of surprised by his abilities.
But you did promise him something.
No, I mean,
share a part of the company.
No, I think that, I mean, you know, he was kind of like me. He was desperate for cool work. I said, very cool startup. What do you want? Like, come work with me and then do your studies in university. Nobody gonna give you ever any interesting task. This is your real opportunity to do something interesting and then show off, and then, you know, maybe gonna become successful, gonna become our CTO in ninth grade. And yeah, so he joined the thing and built this MVP. I was talking a lot to his father because he was very kind of scared of me distracting him from studies. Anyways, we got this MVP. And in 2 months, I made 30K in revenue, and I sent an investor update on
revenue.
In revenue.
By selling subscriptions to this. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so I sent this. So we launched we got money 1st of November, and then on 31st of December, like a new year, I sent the investor update to these guys, and they were like, "Holy shit, this is start." Really? Yeah, this. I mean, they said that like this is a nice joke. I sent him the financial report. And I said, yeah, that's crazy. And but this is how it works. This is startup. The money should be somewhere there. Like you should burn money and do something like, but not do revenue. And I'm like, wow, that's interesting. But they were surprised, and they introduced me to another investor, who was a really big deal from the US. And he said he invested in the company like ours, but the American one. And he knew how successful was it, and he knew that these things, the technology, are going to be very successful. And he basically signed the SAFE for another $500,000, and I was like super happy about that.
And you were 20 years old.
19, yeah.
19 years old, $500,000.
Yeah, I think it was 19. It was $500,000. It was crazy money. And then my friend called me back. No, even when I got the 30K, we got them on a valuation of $2 million. And then basically my friend who started with me said, well, basically now you're a millionaire. And I was like, yeah, that's cool, but on paper. So, and yeah, and then he signed the deal for $500K, and I had about $20K left on the bank account, but I know that the deal is already signed, like I don't worry about that, something gonna happen. But then Russia invades Ukraine, and this guy said that she just ghosted me. Basically, we signed on 23rd of February, 24th, Russia invades Ukraine. And I reached.
That's total shit. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's total shit. And so I reached out to him and say that like when we were gonna wire the money, and he doesn't respond. And it was like 3 weeks and no response.
He wasn't sure who will win between Ukraine and Russia, so he wasn't.
Yeah, I think that he didn't want to. Like, he's a really American investor, right? So it's like reputation for him. And I think it turned out that he's a very shitty guy, because real investors never will do that. They will figure out a way how to help you. He just started ghosting me, and we ran out of money. I didn't have money to pay to my employees. At that time, I already hired some people. And yeah, so my co-founder left me. He didn't want to wire the money. We have no money to pay to employees, but half of them decided to stay. And I decided that I'm going to relaunch again without money, but in the US.
You're going to relaunch, so you're not going to launch the same thing, but do something else, you decided?
No, I mean, launch the same thing, but in the US now, not in Russia. And so, yeah, you see co-founder and CTO left aspect, and then we relaunched in the US. And
so it all happens last year?
Yes. I think yes. When Russia invaded Ukraine?
2022, it's written there.
Yeah, but when the Russia invaded Ukraine?
2021.
2021? No,
22.
Yes. Yeah, sorry, I'm very bad at dates. But yeah, then that's right. So we launched in the US, and then I was 20 at that time. I turned 20 that year. And then, I was just at the point where I needed to launch in the US, but I don't know anyone there. And again, started reaching out to people.
But you also mentioned you didn't speak English.
Yeah, I was speaking very poorly.
Poorly English.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, but like super poorly.
But then at the beginning, I asked you about you being in California in US, and you said no, I never got the visa, but you launched in US.
Yes.
So how did it happen?
Yeah, a lot of cold outreach. I basically was doing again outreached, I think, about 1,000 people in total in 3 months.
Investors?
No, I was looking for a co-founder. And I was just outreaching those who built something significant in healthcare in the US. And yeah, I reached about 1,000 people. No one responded back. It was super bad.
1,000 people, zero response?
Yes, zero. And then I realized because my LinkedIn was in Russian. But anyway, in 4 months, one guy got back to me and responded. And he said, fine, let's jump on the call. We jumped on the call. I realized his salary, and I was like, well, like it's more than anything I can imagine. It's more even the whole investment side from the investor. So even if I'm going to pay only you, and even I've already gotten the investments, I would never be able to even cover that. Anyways, I understood that it's not a deal for us. But then he said, I can consult you for free because you're again funny kid. And I said, wow, that's again cool.
I have something about that.
Yes, and then after a couple of weeks, he just realized how desperate I am because I was doing a lot of work. Like he would give me advice, I would come up with the realization of this advice on the next day and show him the result, and I would say something like, your advice was shitty. Here's the proof. And I was doing this for a couple of weeks, and then he started dedicating more time to me, more and more and more and more. And then he said that let's meet in Italy, to just talk more.
And that was potential CTO, right? Potential co-founder in tech.
No, he was CTO/CPO, basically Chief Product Officer / Technology. And he was Israeli guy, and we met at Italy, spent a week there. Very fun experience. But anyways, we understood that he understood that I'm real, and then I understood that I can get him. So I asked him to spend for another week with me, and as a nice Israeli entrepreneur, he said that
it's a very romantic story.
Yeah, it's very romantic. It was a honeymoon, we call it like that. And then he said that, well, if you want to be co-founders, I need to introduce you to my parents. I was like, wow, that's cool. So we went to...
Once again, if you want us to be co-founders, what?
He needs to introduce me to his parents. Like a real honeymoon, I tell you. So we went to Israel to spend a week with his parents. Yeah, kind of nice. I got a lot of free food. He decided to drop his paycheck and join the company. And we launched in the US because he's an experienced guy with, he knows what he's doing. He helped us to do a nice launch. We got some little bit of traction, but, and I was also applying for YC. I decided to apply to YC.
But where did you get the money from to do the launching and?
Yeah, we just launched. I mean, we just created a landing page. I think what we did is that we basically used our traction from Russia to, I think that we created a very nice story, but we basically were talking about the traction in Russia, but most of the story was about the US, so investors just confused that. And it was a bit tricky. And also we got some people to sign up on the service in the US, like fill out the form, leave our contacts, but not the payment. Yeah, we basically created a landing page where you can sign up, but you won't pay anything because we won't give you even an option. And so we came to investors and we said that we have this money from Russia, we launched in the US this service, we got the demand, so people kind of sign up, but we are the ones who don't lend them to pay. Like, it's not they don't want, we don't allow them. Like, the moment we get and why? Because we want to do a very big launch to get an huge growth at one day. So we're kind of just waiting for that. Like, there is no doubt that's going to happen. And I don't know why we are so sure about that, but we're really sure about that. And I also applied to YC, and I filled out this application, and I posted it into one group, which called YC in Russian, which is the biggest YC community in, I think, Central Eastern Europe. And I basically just asked for a feedback on my application, because I really wanted to get into YC. And I again asked for the feedback, and that's again how I got money. Because one investor reached out to me and said that, well, pretty cool application, really nice results, let's talk. And
He's a Russian investor, right?
yeah, he was a Russian guy, like Russian-speaking Israeli again. And he joined the call, and I said, listen, successful in Russia, crazy growth in the US, zero money, but I mean, who doubts there's going to be money? Yeah, it's like sign-ups, that's huge. And you know, I did this in Russia, I'm going to just repeat it here. And if you're not joining us now, in 3 weeks, we're going to get into YC, so our relation is going to be 10x better. I don't need your money now, I'm going to join YC in 3 weeks. And but give me the feedback on the application. He provided me some useless feedback. I said, well, cool, we're going to talk later. And then he said, I mean, I'm really interested in getting you money. And I said, well, if you're that interested, I can consider that. And yeah, we ended up getting money from him.
How much?
It was $300K.
For what?
For launching in the US.
No. For what equity stake?
I think the valuation was 5 million post money. Yeah, and it also took him 3 weeks to convince me. I mean, at that time I was like super sure about myself.
So interesting. So
Yeah.
he convinced you to accept his money.
Yes, on this valuation, because I wanted a valuation of 10 million.
Ah, okay.
And yeah, I think that like all my ambitions were so crazy for him. I think so. He just got this FOMO, and he's like said like, well, sorry, 10 million is just unreal. I'm not going to do this. I said, fine, you're a nice guy. Let's do 5. And he gave me this 5.
10, 5.
Yes, yes. But I kind of played it cool, which is important. And so he gave me this money. We did the launch. Nothing worked out.
What do you mean?
I mean, no one really converted from those who signed up. No one really converted to
the investor was so fucked up.
Kinda, but he was basically blaming not me, but the associate. He said that, how did you like check these numbers? I was like, how did you check these numbers? I mean, I was like completely transparent with you, and yeah, it was a bit fucked up, but overall fine. We already were in one boat, so yeah, what happened then?
So wait, he lost his money and nothing happened?
Actually, I forgot. He gave me 300K, and then he also brought up 2 friends who gave 200K.
So you had overall 500?
Yes, 500. And then, and also 60K initially. And
still there, yeah.
Yeah, and one of his friends, when we kind of fucked up with the sign-up thing, he got really disappointed, and so the main investor just bought up his stake to kind of save his reputation. But anyways, and yeah, I did this thing for
So Stepan is the one who bought, or who is that?
No, he was basically what happened is that I did this thing for my team just to share with them the story recently, and basically Stepan is a very interesting guy because here you see he had a CTO for some time. And this CTO was like super experienced guy based on the resume. He was like very sure about himself. And then one day he hired Stepan, and he was like, Stepan is super junior, but I'm going to teach him. And then after he left me, I was talking to Stepan, and Stepan was like, well, to be honest, I was teaching him. And I'm like, wow, that's crazy. And he joined us as a back-end developer, and in like 6 months he became full stack, and he wrote the whole service for us. But he was like 21. Or 20.
I got used to it.
Yeah, he was like me, but I mean, you know, he was further than me.
9th grade, 21, 20, yeah.
Yeah, I know this shit. And he was like me, but a bit further than me because he was already married. Yeah, that's crazy. Anyways, so what we did, then it's not the thing, some other people joined us.
Tell us the story, what happened after. So no one signed up. So people signed up, no one paid.
No one signed up, and we just came up with a new idea. Basically, Lad, the guy who joined us, he said that let's just do something super easy, like very low commitment, very cheap. The check up, and we started getting some sales.
Where was it? Checkup.
Yeah, checkup product. It's basically low commitment, no subscription. And then yeah, something happened with Facebook at that time. It was like Black Friday, and we launched the Facebook campaign on Facebook and also Twitter. On Twitter, you also have ads. We launched the campaign there as well. And then all of a sudden, we started getting a lot of sales every day. with like CAC of $10, and which was like 10x or 20x below the industry average. And I didn't sleep at all this like 2 weeks. I was like constantly updating my Slack channel with payments, and I just didn't believe myself. And all people who kind of like knew me, were my mentors, they were looking at it like, wow, that's a kind of crazy success.
And that was for checkups only, right?
Yeah, but this was not about the checkup, I think. I mean, we still don't know. It was just, you know, it was the situation was we launched this checkup, we didn't know how to make sales. And then I said, I'm gonna launch the campaign by myself. Like everyone's super burned out. I'm just like literally nearly crying at nights. And I just closed myself into the room, learned some advertising on Facebook and Twitter, and just launched something without any expectation, this thing to work out. And then we just started going just a huge amount of sales. And everyone's super happy. I just don't believe still. I was like, it's like a joke or something. And then we made about 90K in revenue in 2 months. And yeah, it was 21st, and then it got to 80 in total in 3 months. And it was very cool. And we thought now we can raise money on that, like no doubt. But then the market started going down. And it was kind of fucked up because we basically put all our eggs there, and we were sure that our growth was going to help us. But the investors were saying that this is not subscription, this is one-time purchase, and this is not cool. I'm like, well, what do you mean cool? Like all your companies that you invested at, they don't generate any money. This is like a real profit. You're going to give me more money, I'm going to reinvest, I'm going to get more money. Like I'm going to figure out how to convert them later. But they were not excited about that. So we said that, well, we can't turn this product into subscription without significant investments in brand. And we again got disappointed, like super negative mood for a couple months because there is no way we can get subscription revenue, MRR, with no investments. But then one day I just said, well, let's kind of forget that, turn on the page, and let's imagine that we can. And we just started doing a lot of experiments, just a lot of work as usually. And then we basically did something very crazy, which is we created 3 new landing pages, 3 new programs. And we said that we're gonna invest a little bit of, like it was for women's health, mental health and sleep. And we're gonna sell them for $2,500, like super expensive. And before the payment page, we're gonna ask them 50 questions, like a 50 question survey.
You're gonna lose them
to
the payment.
Like it was like zero belief that it's gonna work out. But the idea was just to learn the client. I said that I don't want money anymore. I just want to learn the client. And so we just made up the survey and then just put this thing like 2.5, just a thing to close the page. And then we got 2 sales. And I was like, wow, this.
On which of the products?
Women's health. It was women's health, yeah. And my co-founder was the one who didn't believe in women's health at all. But I really was super desperate for it. And I said that, like, let's just do it. Like, what happens worst case scenario? And then we got 2 sales from women's health, and then next week 5 more. Next week 5 more.
2.5K?
Yeah, a lot of those.
But it was one-time sell. It wasn't recurring revenue. It wasn't recurring client.
It was recurring because it was 12-month subscription.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it was 12-month subscription, but they get money emission. And and we were like, wow, well, like it's again impossible. And I again said, well, now I can raise any money. I went to investors, but the market is already much more shittier. Yeah. So basically, we're getting some progress, but the market was becoming shittier faster. Yeah. And so I think that, people joined the program, but then they started churning. Basically, after the 2nd month, the product was pretty shitty, and they were just asking for money, like money back. And we had a huge churn, and then investors were like, well, nobody's going to stay with you for 12 months. And we said, we're going to figure this out, just give us the money. And they said, we're not going to give you money. And we said that, well, how can we fix the product? Like, it's an opportunity. People commit to $2,500. They pay this huge money. Like, don't you think that we can fix that? They said, no, we don't think that. And so we said that, fuck, now we again need to do something impossible, which is fix the product without money again. And then, we basically started doing a lot of iterations of the product. This is my co-founder. Anyway, started doing a lot of iterations of the product. I want to explain the story about this photo. Doing a lot of iterations of this product, super focused on the customer, Like, we don't give a shit about anything else, like competitors, nothing. Like, really only customer. We're talking to these customers every day, learning their problems, a lot of manual work. They're crying on the calls, and because they had a lot of hormonal imbalances, like, you know.
The clients were
Like when you're working with women's health.
Okay, explain again. So you are now in femtech.
Yeah, since then we're in femtech.
Yeah, exactly what you're doing.
In femtech, so we're helping women to. It's still the product with a continuous glucose monitor.
Okay.
But we figured out that there is this disease. Basically, there is the main cause of infertility rooted into problems with glucose, and so we apply this same gadget that measures your glucose to kind of help these women, to personalize.
Become pregnant.
Yeah, to become pregnant. This is one use case. The second is lose weight. There are two. And so women who want to lose, like, mostly get pregnant, they're very emotional. So there are a lot of crying on the calls. First time in life, you know, when someone cries in you and cries in front of you, and you don't know even like how to support them in the right way in English. That's like super embarrassing. And you're like also like 20 years old, like a man, and you're like, oof, yeah. Crazy. Anyways, we figured out a way how to make them happy. We got the best retention in the market, and then we reached out to this guy from Flo Health. I think a lot of you know the Flo, right? The menstrual tracking app, and he invested in us. And this is exactly the moment where he sent me the message that I'm going to invest in you. So we're super happy about that. And I'm here in Canada, in Montreal. Also, my co-founder came to me. And so MRR started going pretty nice, like 80% per month. Because this guy, the investor gave us some money, the product was already good, and then the MRR started going pretty decently. And this is pretty much that's the end of this part. I think that's what I was trying to convey to my team, and also I think want to share with you is that determination equals to success, not money. Like we made all the progresses without money, and just with the determination, and that's it. I think that's super important. And even now we're at the point where we basically already ran out of money, and we're still working on and growing because we know that's actually an opportunity. I had a call with my team like 3 weeks ago when I said, guys, I can't pay you anymore. And I had 7 calls in a row with every team member, and 7 out of 7 told me that they're going to stay without money, which was like super like crazy because, you know, that's so much. You just I think that you feel very weird emotions. You're happy from one side, but from another side, it's so much responsibility. Now you don't have a chance to lose. Which is crazy. But anyways, I think the team really realized that that's the key thing, how this world works. I think that we're not the only ones. I'm going to come back to this in the future. We're not the only ones who kind of an example of this rule of determination equals success. I want to quickly tell you the story of that got inspired me a lot. So basically here you can see two men, one Simula and Langley. You can see that he had a seat at Harvard, money from the War Department, hundreds of millions of dollars. He was basically what he was doing. He was developing the first plane, the first airplane, and then so he had a lot of PR awareness, huge money, everything. And these are two guys, no college education, no money, but backpack that fits 5 sets of parts. Why 5 sets of parts? Because that's the amount of crashes from morning till evening of their plane. So they just were repairing the plane every day, and they were the first ones who developed the plane without any money, right? And I think that's pretty much us, because our competitors, our direct competitor is the company who raised the biggest Series A in the world in the whole history of venture, and we are the ones who raised barely any money in the US market, you know, based on the US standards, and we got the best retention. And so I think a lot of people here came to me to ask how to get money, and it's like everyone's super interested about that. But what I realized is that money is never going to solve your problem. It's only your determination, and this is a team. But yeah, I think that this is really about determination.
Amazing. Thank you so much. I mean, you deserve a round of applause.
Thank you.
Absolutely. I am really totally shocked by your story and all the ups and downs that you described. Yeah, I know the investor who invested in Flow and how huge this is, the Flow thing, and that the Flow was actually I was amazed that Flow was developed by guys. And now the guys, and now the guys invest in you, which is also women-oriented startup. Amazing. Okay, guys, let's open for discussion. Open the floor for discussion and questions. Yes.
Yeah, I have a question. So probably, you know, that I don't know, maybe, yeah, actually you have to know this, that mostly all the people that want to develop a startup for a company, they have the problem. I have to start the question from the very beginning.
That's fine, no worries.
So yeah, probably as you know that all the people that want to start a company, want to start a startup, have the problem of having money for a living. So how did you solve this problem?
I mean, in my case, I was pretty fortunate because when I was in Moscow, I left at my parents' place, at my brother's place. Then when Russia invaded Ukraine, I moved to Moldova to live at my parents' place. So I basically figured out a way how can I reduce my expenses to be close to zero. I think that's key. But I think anyone can do that. Like you can always find a way how to reduce your expenses to be nearly zero. But definitely when you get older and older and older, you have more responsibility. So it's quite harder. You get more experience, more exposure, more network. But you need more money. So that's why age is a very big advantage in my case, I think. But
did you have this step when you were living on the funds that you were attracting?
Yeah, after we got the 500K, which was a pretty big deal, I was getting salary for like a year and a half. But now, again, we ran out of money recently. And for the last 4 months, nobody getting any salary. And so I'm just getting back to figuring out ways how can I reduce the expense of my living. And currently I'm back in Moldova to again figure out how to decrease my expenses and spend more time on figuring out how to get investments. But this is a really good boundary that kind of motivates you to actually find how to do that.
Yeah, I see. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries.
Pass the mic.
Hi, my name is Sergio. I have a question not related to the business, but related to the health. What do you think about keto diet?
Yeah, so basically what we do at Aspect is, well, there are benefits of ketogenic diet, which are mostly about putting your body into a state of ketosis, which is cool. But if you just do it in a ketogenic way, which is basically a lot of fat and zero carbs, it's quite dangerous sometimes, not acceptable for all people, very difficult for women. So with the continuous glucose monitor, we can basically put you into a state of ketosis by still allowing you to eat some carbs, but we'll just understand what carbs are good for your body and which won't, and then we'll make it very personalized, so we'll still enjoy carbs. Your female body, in case you're female, will work very well. In case you're male or have some problems with your digestion, you will still enjoy the benefits of carbs, but still be in ketosis. So I'm not really for strict ketosis in the kind of standard way, but I like to be really flexible and have some carbs while still enjoying the state.
Of carbs, in your case. Percentage, yes.
I just use the wearable and see when I can eat carbs, when not. So I just look at my glucose levels, and when I see that I have high glucose, I just reduce the carbs. When I don't, I don't. It's like a speedometer for a car. So I don't really measure percentages. I just see what's happening in my body and then make a decision.
Okay, thank you.
No worries.
Okay. Any other questions? Yeah, just pass the mic.
Something tells me that speaker will understand if I switch in Russian. У меня достаточно...
Да нет, конечно.
Достаточно такой специфичный вопрос. Вы когда запускались и зафейлились первый раз, я уже не помню, какой из разов было, вы считали рынки, capacity рынка, там самые вот эти все ребята, Какая ваша аудитория, вы понимали? Я понял, что ты после сервея уже понял, куда вы хотите ориентироваться.
Да.
Ну, фемтех. Как это происходило?
Да, мы начали считать рынки только когда мой опытный кофаундер пришел. Вот.
Это который?
Который из Израиля, который улыбается в Супермене.
С мамой познакомил.
Да, с мамой познакомил. Но, в общем, идея в том, что мы считать их тогда начали, но это бесполезно. Важно понимать потенциал рынка как бы топ. То есть, типа, честно скажу, если вы играете на рынке СНГ, то как бы это плохо. Когда играешь на рынке США, тебе можно не считать рынки, потому что любой рынок будет достаточно большим. То есть, если он там примерно пару сотен миллионов хотя бы, то уже как-то ты дальше дойдешь до миллиардов, и все будет норм. Вот. И в этом преимущество рынка США. Там можно особо не считать. Там, наоборот, нужно найти самую узкую нишу, стать лучшим в этой нише. Не важно, что она маленькая, она, скорее всего, станет большой, как любая ниша в США. Вот. Но когда ты оперируешь на рынке СНГ, то, я думаю, здесь считать намного важнее, потому что шанс, что у тебя рынок очень маленький, он очень большой, и это один из главных рисков для стартапа. Почему мы могли столько раз пивотиться? Потому что мы играем на больших рынках. То есть там determination равно success. Вот на этих рынках, на маленьких рынках, тебе нужно сделать идеальный план и его экзекьютить очень хорошо. Там, если ты будешь просто тупо верломно идти вперед, очень большой шанс, что у тебя все равно ничего не получится, потому что рынок просто маленький.
Есть еще Латам, есть еще Европа, Африка, в конце концов, Азия специфично.
Все есть, но США просто самый большой, и в нем легче всего, мне кажется, разобраться. Ну, допустим, мне кажется, в рынке США легче разобраться, чем в рынке Латам или в рынке Азии, потому что больше информации о рынке США доступно. Да, вот. То есть Латам тоже неплохой рынок, но там нужно иметь много инсайтов. Вот, типа, провести там кучу времени и так далее. Это все лучше, чем СНГ, но мне просто кажется, США самый легкий вариант для человека отсюда.
И последний вопрос. Сами гурские к тебе пришли и финансировали тебя? Или
Не, у нас финансировали не Гурский. Гурский — это 2 кофаундера, есть еще 3-й технический, его фамилия Ковзел, и вот он нас проинвестировал. Но не сами они пришли. Наш изначальный инвестор познакомил меня с ним, и сначала он пришел и сказал, типа, вот классная штука, но я не хочу инвестировать. И я тут тоже сделал такой прикольный кейс. Я сказал, смотри, такая ситуация, что типа ты знаешь, что это хороший продукт, потому что ты знаешь, что ретеншн очень сложно сделать, мы его сделали, знаешь, что хороший продукт, но не хочешь инвестировать, но, понимаешь, твои инвестиции это будут не просто $30 000, а у меня есть 3 человека, которые мне дадут еще $100 000, как только ты дашь. Вот они только тебя ждут. И я еще сказал, что я на самом деле у тебя мечтаю поучиться. И как бы для него как бы цена его инвестиций уже стала не $30 000, там типа 130. И плюс еще я вот мечтаю у него поучиться, и как бы поиграл на его эго, и он решил мне такие дать деньги в итоге.
Слушай, ну интересно, вот ты рассказываешь, можно я тоже быстро на русском? Можно на русском? Да? Окей. Ты просто... Не знаю, где микрофон. Не, я просто хотела как бы подытожить. Интересно, ты рассказываешь этот вариант, как ты работаешь или как ты привлекаешь инвесторов. Сначала ты говорил про FOMO. Да, вот как сделать так, чтобы инвестор думал, что либо я сейчас, либо кто-то другой в другой раз, но лучше я сейчас. То есть боится пропустить. И FOMO вообще it's a big deal in VC community, right? In investors community. It's all about FOMO, actually. И вот второе, как ты говоришь, вторая стратегия — это поиграть на эго, дать инвестору понять, что его 30 — это на самом деле 130, и плюс я хочу у него поучиться. А есть у тебя еще какие-то другие идеи, стратегии, как можно вот завлечь инвесторов, влюбиться в проект и инвестировать?
Надо понять, что им интересно всегда. Это не всегда return, и особенно для ангелов это очень часто что-то другое. Вот, допустим, сейчас я там в Лондоне довольно много встречаюсь с разными женщинами, которые, например, у них был experience IVF или там проблем с гормонами, и они просто переживают об этом топике. И если они видят продукт, который реально помогает людям, они видят, что я понимаю в науке, и они как бы хотят сделать свой contribution в проблемах, которые они раньше столкнулись. Вот. То есть я бы сказал, первоначальных людей нужно искать вообще не те, которые деньги хотят, а те, кто что-то другое хотят, что-то как бы эмоционально большее. Вот. И их намного меньше в СНГ и в целом в Европе. их намного больше в США. Ну, они обычно в очень богатых странах, потому что тебе нужно уже достичь как бы такой вершины пирамиды Маслоу, чтобы ты мог как-то легче своими деньгами распоряжаться. Ну, да. Вот. И FOMO, по поводу FOMO, все говорят про это FOMO, но это как бы это очень тяжело сделать на самом деле, и я и часто пытаюсь сделать, но из-за того, что сейчас рынок уже down market, то сейчас FOMO практически не работает. Вот. И худший вариант, когда вы делаете искусственное FOMO. Вот. Это выглядит очень тупо. Поэтому да, лучше так не делать.
Issue to pay if you lie doing FOMO, и тогда они узнают that's your final.
Привет, меня зовут Оля. Спасибо большое за твою презентацию. Очень много инсайтов. Мы сейчас как раз в начале пути развиваем свою идею стартапа. И вот мне как раз интересна тема по поводу инвестиций. Как именно выходить на этих ангельских инвесторов? То есть ты говоришь, что они больше в США, и вот находясь, например, в Молдове, как можно найти этих людей, которым эмоционально, скажем так, понравится и не закоммитятся в твой продукт?
Есть какие-то некие гигиенические вещи, например, типа делать продукт на большом рынке, там, на рынке США или Лондона. То есть тогда у тебя пул инвесторов, которым ты можешь написать, он очень большой. Что все, многие инвестируют в рынки США и в рынки Лондона, UK, вот, какие-то большие. То есть это первая гигиеническая штука. Ну да, но все равно инвесторов очень мало кто инвестирует в Африку и так далее. Намного больше в США и в UK. Вот. Второе, нужно понять просто людей, у кого есть деньги, у кого обычно есть деньги. Те, кто сделал какой-то экзит, обычно...
Это ex-founders,
да? Да, либо ex-founders, либо founders Series A, ну, Series A редко, Series B, либо всякие там VP в больших компаний. То есть вот, ты примерно понимаешь, что у них есть деньги, скорее всего. И ты просто пишешь им. Ну, вот, допустим, сейчас мы делаем фандрейзинг, и мы нашли людей из наших индустрий или похожих индустрий, кто сделал экзиты недавно, кто вот на Series B Founders, кто прям пишет, что они angel. Если в LinkedIn нагуглишь типа angel, там довольно много будет людей. Потом еще есть всякие сообщества, называется, например, Angel Squad. Это такой типа синдикат, но очень многие в LinkedIn пишут, что типа я Angel Squad member, что обозначает, что он по-любому типа Angel инвестирует. Вот. И всем им просто пишешь, никогда не просишь по деньги, всегда просишь в совет. В конце просто спрашиваешь, ну типа, спасибо за совет, еще если хочешь, можешь проинвестировать. Вот. Это работает лучше.
Но это если ориентироваться на американский рынок, а если это на локальный, ангелы не захотят.
Ну, потому что вы должны им что-то дать. Ну, типа, есть, я думаю, есть ангелы, которые могут захотеть в Молдову инвестировать или там в СНГ. Они должны действительно супер переживать про СНГ. Это единственная мотивация. Сколько вы таких людей найдете? Ну, сколько-то можно.
Вот
да.
как раз и предыдущий вопрос. Многие советуют рассматривать Молдову как тренировочный рынок, то есть делать лаунч MVP на Молдову, потом Румыния, потом уже. Исходя из этого, как ты смотришь вообще на эту стратегию?
А знаете, какая самая успешная страна из СНГ с точки зрения венчура?
Россия, что ли?
Россия. Да. А знаете, почему Белоруссия?
Айтишников много.
Ну да. Как, что думаешь, в России меньше айтишников?
А почему тогда?
IT-парк, хорошее сообщество.
Думаете, в России нету сообществ больше, чем IT-парк?
Ну, в России с политикой непонятно, поэтому там...
Не, на самом деле...
В Беларуси тоже.
Да. В общем, идея в том, что в России довольно большой рынок, в России можно сделать большой бизнес. И все такие, типа, мы сейчас начнем в России, а потом дойдем до США. В моем случае меня спасла война. Но большинство компаний фейлится, потому что они зарываются в России, и практически нету бизнесов, которые можно начать на одном рынке и перенести на другой, или expand. Так никогда не работает. А белорусы, у них нет своего рынка, и они всегда начинают с США. Вот, и поэтому они как бы успешные.
Тогда про Украину нельзя такое же самое сказать.
То же самое, почему? В Украине нормальный рынок.
Есть там свой рынок.
Но он довольно большой. То есть Украина, наверное, вторая после России по размеру
Я
страна.
правильно понимаю, на ответ ты говоришь,
Что нет?
нет смысла
Это-
тестировать здесь, а потом Румыния, а потом куда-то еще.
Это не то, что нет
Сразу
смысла.
иди куда-то еще, да?
Да, это не то, что нет смысла, это очень губительно, потому что потратишь кучу времени, сил, начнешь учиться на ошибках из этого рынка, а эти знания не транслируются на другой рынок. Потому что на другом рынке люди по-другому оперируют, там другие проблемы.
Но я здесь не очень согласна с тобой, потому что здесь, на этом рынке, ты можешь, по крайней мере, протестировать команду, понять, вообще способен ты как лидер или кофаундер делать этот проект, хотя бы сделать какие-то customer интервью, сделать ошибки и понять, что окей, that's not how it works, и это тебе выйдет дешевле, чем если бы ты те же самые ошибки делал так.
Ну, я думаю, что это можно обсуждать конкретно по ситуации. Ну, например, то, что ты говоришь, какой ты лидер и так далее, ты должен быть по дефолту уверен, что ты хороший лидер. Вот. Ну, как бы, да, лидера проверять не нужно. Должен быть уверен. Но ты должен проверять проблему. А если ты проверяешь проблему и нашел, например, что, не знаю, в Молдове вот есть 100 мамочек, которые не могут решить проблему, там, не знаю, педиатра найти в телемедицине, ты такой, вот крутая проблема.
Она на самом деле только молдавская.
Да, она только молдавская, потому что таких уже миллиардов в США и так далее. Вот. И ну, как если увидели мой питч, он изначальный, типа, давайте перенесем идею США в Россию. Вот. И почему я ничего не получил в США, почему никто не конвертировался из этих подписчиков? Потому что в США было таких же компаний куча. Типа, это типа, ну, плохая была идея. И потом, когда мы уже начали делать CastDev заново в США, все изучать в США, тогда мы уже нашли идею, которая сработает в США, потому что мы ее нашли в США. Типа, логично.
Можно пример? Я расскажу там, о чем примерно наша идея продуктов, и вот мне интересно, что ты посоветуешь, потому что, по сути, проблема, она универсальна, глобальна, как бы она есть и в Молдове, и, в принципе, у всех.
Могу я только здесь, чтобы это не казалось такой консультацией, чтобы всем тоже было интересно, если это затягивается, мы просто перенесем этот разговор отдельно после... Начинай, говори, если это не сильно долго, окей.
Да, я постараюсь максимально коротко. Мы нашли проблему, что люди, которые работают удаленно, они страдают от болей в спине и шее. И мы придумали решение, это приложение, которое напоминает о перерывах. Перерывы — это одна из частых проблем, почему совершаются эти боли. И оно напоминает и показывает именно упражнения, которые решают и предотвращают эту боль. И наша логика такова, что эта проблема, она универсальна, в принципе, на всем рынке глобальном. И мы думали, например, использовать молдавский рынок как тренировочный и уже масштабироваться. Исходя из этого, как ты думаешь, все-таки лучше напрямую на рынок целевой, который, например, в US, или все-таки можно попробовать местный?
Да, смотрите, я думаю, что здесь важно... Это хороший пример, потому что вы можете протестировать, что проблема реальная на рынке Молдовы, на любом рынке, но вам никто же не даст деньги, вы не сделаете стартап, решая только проблему, которая реальная. Вам нужно из этого еще сделать бизнес. Естественно, понять, сколько вы value создаете, сколько вы value capture. И, соответственно, люди в Молдове могут не платить. Или, например, в Молдове не будет, например, много chiropractors, этих специалистов. Да. Переведем их так, но, в общем, только в США, да, и поэтому, допустим, эта бизнес-модель в Молдове не сработает, ты думаешь, вот, все, этой бизнес-модели нет, она в США сработает. Все, что касается бизнеса и так далее, в США, то есть в Молдове можно проверить реальность Молдовы, реальность проблемы, но это очень мини-штука. Типа, да, мне кажется, то, что у тебя не будет бизнеса, и то, что за это не будут платить, намного больше риск, а его ты не протестишь никак, кроме как на целевом рынке.
Хорошо, спасибо большое.
Не на что.
Привет еще раз, Глеб. Очень крутая история, мне очень понравилось. У меня такой вопрос. Смотри, я правильно понял, что у вас изначально была сделана хардверная часть, вот этот инструмент, который вы использовали, а потом вы на него как бы наложили саму бизнес-модель и придумали вот эту штуку, да? Мне интересна процедура, как вы придумали вообще хардверную часть, что вы использовали, куда вы тыкали. Я не думаю, что вы ее делали, как будто бы вот мы делаем для того, чтобы решить такую-то проблему. Как будто бы, скорее всего, вы ресерчили и случайно... Ну вот мне интересна вот эта процедура, как вы сделали.
Да, никогда не делайте хардвер, первый совет. Если бы мы делали хардвер, мы бы никогда ничего не сделали. Ну, типа, хардвер — это очень сложно. И в нашем случае у нас уникальный кейс, потому что мы взяли готовый хардвер, который продается в каждой аптеке мира. Как я говорил, мы взяли датчик, который используют диабетики, и мы просто расширили его application, его применение. Соответственно, мы не делаем никакого хардвера, но мы получаем бонусы хардвера. А бонусы хардвера — это то, что ты по факту попадаешь, человеку как-то ближе с ним делаешь контакт, потому что что-то уже физическое. Вот. Поэтому, да, у нас получилось просто avoid all downsides of hardware. Logistics, нам ничего не нужно делать, они есть в любой аптеке мира. Но, да, у нас была проблема, что этот хардвер производится фармацевтической компанией, одной из самых больших в мире, И официально его нельзя, ну, у них есть software для этого hardware, и официально, ну, тебе нужно этот сенсор сканировать. И вот официально нет какого-то кода, чтобы сканировать. И я, короче, нашел...
Ты хакнул.
Не я хакнул. Была российская группировка хакеров, которая... Это правда. И, короче, ребята сделали reverse engineering of the thing, и они взломали эту штуку, чтобы ее можно было продлевать и так далее. Это была реально российская группировка хакеров, и они изменили рынок диабета в мире. Потом Abbott на них пожаловался и сказал, что... Они выложили код в открытый доступ. И потом Abbott на них пожаловался и сказал, что, типа, удалите этот код. И поэтому все наши конкуренты, у них очень херовый UX, потому что у них нет доступа к этому коду. А я начал, короче, по одному собирать тех людей, которые были в этой группировке. И это было очень странно, потому что половина из них были какие-то чуваки, связанные с государством вообще, типа, или какие-то люди были откуда-то из Новосибирска, они как бы вообще ничего не знают, неинтересный бизнес, просто какие-то такие crazy математики, гении, вот. И короче, да, я собрал кусочком этот код, и мы по факту как бы взломали ее. Делаем это нелегально, но ну, как бы, типа, нашли hole in the law, потому что нас не могут засудить, но это как бы такой great thing. Но из-за этого у нас огромное преимущество на сцене.
Прикольно, это хакинг, типа, такой прикольно.
Вас купить, прийти и пригрозить.
Ну, пока слишком... Не, мы более того, мы месяц назад вышли на их директора Эббота, и с ним открыто общаемся. Они какие, типа, что, как сканируется? Мы такие, типа, нормально. Да.
Супер, спасибо большое. Кто-то хочет еще?
Еще вопросы есть? Супер.
Хорошо, у меня есть еще один вопрос. Или ты хочешь закончить?
Ну, давайте последний вопрос.
Последний вопрос, ладно, попробую достаточно быстро его. Смотри, окей, предположим, что вы сделали хардверную часть. Вот у вас все готово, классно, вы видите потенциал, куда можно использовать эту технологию. И вы такие, окей, вот давай попробуем, допустим, вот такое решение, вот которое самое первое у вас пришло. Как вы его тестили? Вы его тестили на РФ-рынке, скорее всего. Вы шли, что вы каздевили, вы... Какую процедуру совершали?
Я просто создал, я сделал все очень правильно. Я получил инвестиции 1 ноября, 3 ноября создал лендинг-пейдж, написал просто, у меня неплохо с дизайном, мне неплохо совсем. Я написал просто, покупайте глюкометры, если хотите больше работать и быть более энергетик. И очень тупая штука. И прикрутил туда Stripe, еще в России зачем-то Stripe решил взять. Но anyway, и, короче, начал просто продавать. У меня не было ни продукта, ни идеи, как я его сделаю.
Хотел рекламу?
Не, я просто начал в Фейсбуке постить. И просить людей постить. И попросил Сашу Лариновского, который из Skyeng, запостить. И, короче, мне от него пришло тоже где-то, наверное, клиентов 80. Вот, они мне дали уже типа $10 000, а у меня ни продукта, нифига. И это еще Новый год, я понимаешь, большинство из них мне еще написали письма, типа, что мы хотим подарок сделать. Я такой, блин, чуваки.
Слушай, прости, перебью, а вот ты в конце что писал? Вот когда они заказывают, ты такой, вы простите, у нас нет ничего?
Не, говорю, скоро придет. Вот, я просто много раз ты имейл отправлял, что скоро придет.
А варианты сделать кикстартер, я не знаю, поднять краудфандинг?
Сколько это времени займет? Откуда я знаю такие слова? Тогда я ничего не знал.
И через сколько они получили свои продукты?
Не, часть из них получила, много из них купила первой недели ноября, а часть из них получила, 80% получили где-то там 30-го, 29-го, прям впритык. Коробки были хреновенького качества и так далее, норм. И 20 получили где-то 4-5 января, но мы им сказали об этом, типа, мы поняли, что мы не успеваем, мы им написали письмо, что, типа, сори. Они сказали, блин, помогите мне что-нибудь под елку положить, и мы им прислали просто бумажки, типа, сертификаты, и они были в целом довольны.
Супер, спасибо большое.
Слушай, все, больше вопросов нет, да? Я давно не слышала такой истории, я на самом деле просто amused myself listening to you. Мне безумно нравится, I really enjoyed your spirit of positivity, your innocence, and also your humbleness, and also determination a lot. Yeah, I wish you very much success in raising the next round and then the next round. What I've seen in you is that you truly believe what you're doing, but also you have this commitment no matter what. And one more thing, which was like a red line across all your speech, was about giving. Like you are not thinking about getting first, but about giving. Let me give you coaching. Let me help you. Let me work for free for you. I think that's amazing, and I think that's the most important part in everything.
Yeah, I think so. I always tell my co-founder is probably the smartest person in the world I've ever met. And I always tell him that this is your downside, because I'm pretty silly, and I have a memory of goldfish, which is one day. And I think that saves me a lot, and I really highly encourage everyone to try to learn how to be silly sometimes, and really always have a memory of goldfish. One day and tomorrow you are new. It really helps a lot in the startup journey. Unless you learn this, it's going to be really hard for you to survive. But the moment you learn it, you're going to basically become unstoppable, because you have new life every day. So you don't really care about wasting it, because you're going to get a new one tomorrow. So.
I have last question that just came up. What about your parents? What do they say?
My parents, yeah, lovely people, but they like, you can imagine how scary they are. Like, you know, my brother is PhD, like really followed all their dreams. Also medical student, this kind of stuff, and they thought I would be also a normal person, but I was kind of fucked up from the beginning. But now they started laughing at it, and they kind of said, like, well, you know, seems like this thing working.
One is okay.
Yeah, they tell it like that. But yeah, I think that it's at least important that they try to support. They're very scary. And a lot of time, for a long time, I was connected to that feeling. I was trying to make them less scary, make them happy. But I understood that parents always happy when you are safe. And when you are safe, you don't make any progress. So you need just to accept the fact that they're not going to be happy for a while, but then you're going to bring them the ultimate level of happiness. So I'm trying to work on that pretty hardly these days, to kind of just remember that.
You're extremely wise for your age. Okay. Yes. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Gleb.
Thank you, guys.